Peace. Good morning. I don't know why I always fix this mic. Like I didn't just fix it like before we got on. It always seemed that way. Um, yeah, good morning. It's March the 3rd. It is Friday. So for all you March babies, your day is coming. This is the third day of March, the third day of the third month of 2023. However that math adds up, if that's some type of mathematic that you like, cool, whatever. It's the third day of the third month of 2023. That's today. That's what we're doing right now. So add that math, however you add that math, is completely up to you. But again, like always, I will always say thank you and I appreciate you and show you 100% gratitude just for being in this digital space as we build and develop this digital relationship. I say thank you. Good morning to you. I pray that your week has been a blessed week. If it was not a blessed week, what are you going to do to change it? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? What are you going to find for yourself that can change how you feel like in this moment, like today? So that's my prayer for you. Hopefully your day gets better. Your week gets better by the start of your day today. But it's completely up to you. Not up to me, but it's completely up to you. Miss Scott, long time no see. I haven't seen you all week, but I appreciate you for being here, just tapping into this space from all the way down there in Austin and just being able to be a part of consistency is currency. Your morning podcast of choice, like I always say. So, good morning to you. And today is a very good day. Why? Because we're going to talk that talk, right? We're going to talk that talk. We're going to speak that power language like we always do. And like we always do on Fridays, let's go ahead and pull up our demographics and where we have been heard and seen for this week. And we show much gratitude to all of our domestic as well as our international listeners. So again, in the U.S., we always going to share appreciation. 87% of our listeners come from the U.S. India, I don't know how you found me, but appreciate you for being here. Nigeria, thank you. Canada, Germany, Italy, South Africa, Puerto Rico, Kenya, United Kingdom, South Korea, Indonesia, Singapore, France, Netherlands, Pakistan, Australia, Russia, United Arab um, Emirates. I think I said it right this time. Uganda, Algeria, Saudi Arabia, Nepal, Burundi. Thank you. Morocco, we appreciate you. Mexico, New Zealand, Ireland, Turkey, Slovenia, Namibia, Dominican Republic, Australia, we say thank you. U.S. Virgin Islands, we appreciate you as well. Thailand, Ethiopia, Malaysia, Belgium, Philippines, we say thank you. Latvia, thank you. Denmark, thank you. Belize, the island of Belize, we say thank you, appreciate you. Uzbekistan and Georgia. So now let's go to the platforms that listen the most. For those who got an iPhone or who has a MacBook, whatever it is, you can always listen to Consistency is Currency on your Apple device. 73.2% of our listeners listen to it on Apple Podcasts. We have web browsers, those who find it on the internet on their computer may not be using Apple Podcasts or what have you. 11% of that comes from our web browsers, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, and other is like Amazon Music and stuff like that. All right, this week, is this true? All male listeners this week, no females. That's different. Ladies, where you at? All right. And age wise, we got a young crowd this week. 18 to 22 is 50% of our listeners. So all our young crowd out there, we appreciate you for listening. And 23 to 27, thank you. 28 to 34, we appreciate you as well. Now let's go ahead and get ready to pull into what we're going to be communicating about and discussing today. Peace, Mr. Johnson. I'm gonna tell you where today's conversation came from. It came from Mr. Tony Johnson's post uh, yesterday. I mean, you never know where your inspiration is going to come from, and you never know who you are inspiring as well. So this is where today came from. Our language. And let me switch this real quick. So I was looking at a post that he had put up, and he was talking about the things that he wanted to do and manifest in his life and in his house of resource facility that he has um, is creating in the Temple area. And I just like, I mean, I see a lot of other comments that was in there in the section, and I just told him, speak that language. And as I began to listen to what I said or what I typed, speak that language, and I was like, there's not a lot of people that speak language, like speak that language to themselves. So let me put this caption up because I want to learn from you. Like, what language do you speak to yourself? What language do you speak to yourself? How do you manifest the things that you manifest? So that's where today came from. So I appreciate you, Mr. Johnson, for actually inspiring today's message, which is power language. That's today. That's what we're talking about, power language. So what I want you to put inside the chat, put the word language inside the chat. If you just want to put language, put language. If you want to put power language, put power language. Because the way you manifest things come from an internal power that you speak life into, that you give it the power to exist. So go ahead and put that power language in there. And let's go ahead and go into today's conversation. Again, what language do you speak to yourself? Like, you're either going to speak love to yourself, you're either going to speak power to yourself, you're going to speak determination to yourself, you're either going to speak um, what's another language that you can speak to yourself? You're going to speak determination to yourself, or you're going to speak dedication to yourself, telling you like, hey, we dedicated today. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. That's speaking dedication to yourself. That's telling you that today is not the day for you not to get it done. And you speaking truth to power and you're executing that particular task that you want to do. So you're speaking that power language. So what language do you speak? Go ahead and put that inside the chat. What language do you speak to yourself? One word. What language do you speak to yourself? All right, so let's go ahead and jump 2 feet into this. Like always, you're going to get definition of words. You're going to get inversions of definition by either red over white or white over red. If there's something that you see that resonates with you, go ahead and put that inside the chat. Drop it. Drop those jewels. There are some things that you may see that I might not have saw, and I want to learn from you too. All right, so let's go ahead. The first definition of language. It says the principal method of human communication consisting of words used in a structured and conventional way and conveyed by speech, writing, or gestures. And the inversion that I want you to pay attention to today is red over white. It is a principal method of communication used in a structured way. So let's talk about this for a little bit. A principal method of communication used in a structured way. So let's look what Mr. Tony put up here real quick. Because remember the definition, a principal method of communication used in a structured way. His power word, peace, good morning, Miss Mecca. His power word is community. If that is a principal method on how you communicate in that structured way, then you're going to do things that is community based and it's going to empower the community only because you've created that as a principal method of how you communicate. So the things that you're communicating about is going to take shape that is going to be a added benefit to the community. That's a power language. And his other one is power, just speaking truth to power, giving energy and putting a force behind not just what you say, but putting a force behind what you do, which then expands the original manifestation of the words that you've put out. Resources and freedom. So now you're talking about what are your principal methods of communicating used in a structured way? That's when you begin to understand if I am structuring the things that I want in my life, then I am going to have to and I am going to have to allow my words to be structured as well. Because you can't say this is what I want for myself, but then don't give the principle method behind why you want those things for you. And it's not you waiting for somebody else to provide it for you. That is you manifesting those words in order for you to provide it for yourself. It is a self-fulfilling measure that you take, that it's structured and by what you say to you. Peace. Good morning, Miss Marshall. Okay, we got LinkedIn listening. I appreciate you. All right, so let's go with the next definition, and I want you to pay attention to. This definition says a system of communication used by a particular country or community. So the inversion on this one is white over red, but let's flip this real quick. Um, we're going to talk red just a little bit, but my true original focus is white, but we're going to talk red only because there's two words in this red that I wanted to look at. And one of the words that Mr. Johnson put out, he put community out there. He put his power word as power language as community. So in red, it says used by a particular country or community. So now it goes into who are you surrounding yourself with? Like what communities have you built that surrounds you, that y'all speak the same language? You understand what I'm saying? Because when you have a community that speaks a particular language, that speaks the power of to community, then there's more things that's going to get done, not just because of you, but because of the common language that you and your community speak. That's you knowing that the community that you're in is not just there for any particular reason, but it's there for a specific reason. We're going to change the communities that we're in when we speak a common language and we have a shared goal. I'm going to say that again. When we speak as a community a shared language, then we will have the outcome that we speak because we speak that same power language. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. Y'all look at the community that you speak to and the community that you surround yourself with. Are y'all speaking the same particular language that have the same shared and common goal? If not, maybe you need to check the community and how and who you surround yourself with. All right, I'm gonna push that to the side. Let's go into the inversion of white over red. It is a system of communication. A system. A system of communication or the language that you speak means when this happened, we automatically shift into this space. It is a system of communication. If I need to speak from a perspective that disciplines me in order for me to complete my task, then I know what to say, when to say it, how to say it, because it needs to be said, because it is a system of communication. That is an acknowledgement and a transparent way of knowing how to get and knowing what you want to get done. Because there's a series of words that need to be paid attention to. All right, let's go to the next definition. Then we're going to go into this deep dive. So this definition says a particular style of speaking or writing. This is just definition. You can look it up yourself. A particular style of speaking or writing, give your instructions in everyday language. So the inversion that I want you to pay attention is give your instructions every day. Like, what do you say to you that keeps you in line? What do you say to you in those moments that is going to take you to get yourself out of your situation or even get yourself out of your way? Like, what's that instruction that you have given yourself today of task that you want to complete before you consider your day to be over? There is a group of instructions that you have to have in order for you to provide yourself with what you need to do, with your daily requirements. Your daily requirements require daily instructions of power language. That sounds like a book. Power language. I ain't gonna do it. Maybe somebody else will do it. All right. Power language. Power language is a given structure. It is a structure that is given every day. So let's get ready to travel down this deep dive in order for us to examine things in a much more deeper way. Power language. Put power inside the chat because we're gonna speak truth to power today. A lot of times we don't pay attention to the things that we say, but we wonder why things just don't happen. Maybe because you've manifested that fear, maybe because you poured life into that situation that probably should have not manifested itself at all, but we spoke it into existence. And we continue to speak it into existence because we don't understand how much power language exists. Because language is the primary tool for expression and communication between the sender and the receiver. But the language that we're talking about today is not you talking to someone else. What language do you speak to you? We're talking about the power of virtue of self reflection. That self reflecting language really begins to confirm the things that we think about ourselves. Not what someone else think about you, but what do you think about yourself? Because that power language really begins to persuade us and to influence our thoughts and our actions. How many times have you ever needed to persuade yourself to do something, or you need to be, or you had needed to be your own influencer? Like, put that inside the chat. Be that transparent to say that I've had to persuade myself to do what I know I needed to do, and it took me to talk myself out of my way to make sure I got it done that day. Because language is quantity as well as it is quality. So it's not just about how many times you say it to yourself, it's about what you say to yourself. Language is quantitative as well as its quality. Like, what are you saying to yourself? Like, what's that power language that you speak to yourself? The quality of what you're saying to yourself. Because I want you to pay attention to something real quick. Because the two components of your language, it gives you the ability to speak life to things that are already understood. I'm gonna say that again because I want you to understand it, and I want it to hit home. The first component, that language gives you life and the ability to speak life to the things that are already understood. That means if I know that I have to do this and it's already understood that it needs to be done, I need to speak life into it. If I need to persuade myself or to be influential to myself to get it done, it's already understood. I know this need to be done. I know that I need to do this. So therefore, I'm speaking life into it. So let's go ahead and flip to the other side. What's the other component? Because the other component actually speaks wisdom to ourselves, which gives us the ability to listen to understand. We don't always have to open our mouths to say things to other people. Maybe you need to utilize your wisdom to close your mouth in order for you to listen to understand, as well as speak life into those things that are understood. Because our language is one of the things that sets us apart, right? It's one of those things that sets us apart because you can look at one person, because remember, like I always say, the person that says I can't and the person that says I can, both of them are correct. But language is the one thing that sets us apart between the people that say I can't and the people that say I can, the people that say I will and the people that says maybe, the people that says I must and the people that says tomorrow. It sets you apart. Your language sets you apart. The things that you do sets you apart. How the construct of your language, the quality of your language that you say to yourself sets you apart, because what you do and what you say and the way that you formulate those thoughts that you have is really going to allow you to say, okay, I need to change the quality of my language, because I can quantify how many times I say, "All right, you got it. I mean, today is your day. We good." Now you can say how many times you say that, but what's the quality? Quality is saying, "I will have this done by 1 o'clock, and once I'm done with this, I'm going to make sure I prepare myself tomorrow because I want this. I want to set myself up for tomorrow." That's quality. That's telling you what you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want to do it. Um, and how does it prepares you for what's to come. That's getting in detail, the structure in detail in what you need to provide for yourself. Language can also provide for you when the pain comes. Language can also provide for you when the fear kicks in. Like, what do you say to you when it's time to put in work? Like, are you speaking encouraging words, or are you speaking a language that is setting you up for your own demise? Think about this. How we use our language shapes our world both internally as well as externally. It's our self talk. Because what you say to yourself and about the world that you surround yourself with, that community, it ultimately directly shapes your experience. And how we deliver our communication shapes the way that the world or our community responds to us. So, what language do you speak? Haven't you diminished your impact enough? Haven't you derailed your progress enough? Because it's bad when somebody else is doing it to you, but when you do it to you, that makes it a little bit more difficult, because a lot of times we don't see it as we're being self sabotaging. We may say it, we may say, well, I'm not really self sabotaging. I'm just cautious. Like, what? There's a big difference between using your wisdom and applying your wisdom. You can use your wisdom and say, okay, I'm being cautious. But then when you apply, you're like, you know what? I'm not being cautious. I'm gonna just tell the truth. I'm afraid. I am scared. But when you speak more power language to yourself, you're gonna respond different. So stop speaking that broke language and speak prosperity language. Speak plans on how you're going to change your financial conditions. Like my like my mom used to say, mother used to say, stop speaking po mouth and find words that give you power. Like, yes, today, now, will, must, give, forgive, thank you, accept, love, whatever it is that speaks that language and that truth to power to you. That's the language that you need to speak. Don't you know the language that you speak today can prevent you from what is going to happen or could happen for you tomorrow? But when you speak power language to you today, it gives you the ability to change what's going to happen to you tomorrow because you're speaking into it today. You're speaking life into it today. Speak that power language and don't be afraid of it. Why? Because language is a system of communication and how you speak to you. Give yourself the instructions that you need to tell you that you can continue. Give your instructions that you need to tell you that you are giving this on purpose. Give the instructions that you need to tell you that you are worthy, to tell you that you are worth every bit of success that you have received because you've worked on it, you've worked towards it, you've worked for it. Tell you, thank you for believing in you. You don't need somebody else's approval just so they can say, oh, he's him done good. You don't need that. Tell you that you got it. Tell you that you're worth it. Tell you that you're worthy. And when you understand that power language, you won't be waiting for somebody else's approval. Your approval is good enough. Your approval is the acceptance that you need. All right, I'm going to leave that alone. All right, I'm worthy. Your validation is not necessary. 100%. 100%. All right, I'm gonna leave y'all alone. But I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for just being in this space here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice, like we always say. I will see you Monday. To all of the new viewers, we're here every Monday, 7:30. And if you want to go back and listen to it, you can listen to Consistency is Currency, all the other previous podcast episodes. You can listen to on iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Google Music, Spotify, Anchor, Amazon Music, Podbean. So whichever platform that you whatever platform that you listen to your podcast on, go ahead and put in a search. Consistency is Currency. And we'll see you on Monday morning. Y'all be blessed. Peace.